While everyone was asleep, someone unzipped the tent from the inside, but no one was actually in there. If it were you, you'd have run, but this guy stayed. I used to laugh at those missing camper stories you hear on late-night news reports, the ones where a couple goes into the woods and never comes back. It always felt distant, like a cautionary tale for people who didn't know what they were doing. But last summer, I found out how real it can get. My girlfriend Sarah, her younger brother Nate, and I had planned a 3-day camping trip deep into the remote forests of northern Idaho. We were chasing that feeling of being totally disconnected. No cell service, no noise, just nature. Nate had found this obscure spot online, supposedly untouched, unmarked on modern GPS apps. It sounded perfect, like our own private little world. The first day was peaceful. Long hike, light jokes, setting up the tent under the golden light bleeding through the trees. That first night, we sat around a crackling fire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. Everything felt normal, beautiful even. But sometime around 2 a.m., I woke up to what sounded like footsteps outside the tent. Slow, dragging, crunching through dry pine needles. I held my breath, thinking maybe it was a deer or a raccoon. I didn't wake the others. But I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was out there wasn't an animal. It was too steady, too intentional. When I finally drifted back to sleep, I dreamt of trees closing in like walls and someone whispering my name from the darkness. In the morning, I mentioned it. Sarah brushed it off, but Nate looked unsettled. He admitted he hadn't slept either, that he thought he saw someone standing out in the tree line, just past the fire's glow, not moving, just watching. We laughed it off, kind of. Told ourselves it was probably shadows, maybe the forest playing tricks on us. But that second night, that's when things started unraveling. We were sitting quietly by the fire again, listening to the wind move through the leaves, when the forest went dead silent. No crickets, no owls, nothing. It was like the world had gone on mute. And then, without warning, Nate stood up and said he needed to pee. He grabbed a flashlight and walked a few yards out into the trees. We waited. 5 minutes passed. 10. Then 20. I called out, thinking maybe he'd gotten turned around, but there was no answer. We started searching. Flashlights scanning through thick brush calling his name. And then Sarah found his boots, just sitting there in the dirt. Side by side like he'd taken them off carefully. On top of them his flashlight, still on, pointing straight up into the trees. That was the first time I saw real fear in Sarah's eyes. I felt it too, my gut twisting, heart racing, palms damp. We didn't sleep that night. We stayed up, holding the hatchet and the bear spray, taking turns, keeping watch. Something kept circling us just beyond the edge of the firelight. We could hear it. Slow, deliberate steps, twigs breaking under weight, the occasional breath or snort. It never came close enough to see, but it was there. Watching, waiting. The next morning, Sarah wanted to go back. I agreed. But when we tried to retrace our steps, the path was gone. I mean, completely gone. Where there had been a clear trail the day before, now there was just brush and unfamiliar terrain. It was like the forest had shifted overnight. We wandered for hours, yelling Nate's name, until we came across a clearing neither of us remembered passing. In the center was a pile of bones, animal bones, probably, but they were stacked too neatly, like someone had arranged them. And on a nearby tree, nailed into the bark, was a Polaroid photo. Nate, standing alone, eyes wide, face pale, like someone had forced him to pose for it. We ran. I don't even remember the direction. Just away. Eventually, we set up camp again, afraid to move further in the dark. That night, we didn't talk. We barely breathed. At around 3 a.m., Sarah unzipped the tent to look outside, and that's when she saw it. A face, inches away from hers. Pale, skin like wet paper. No eyes, just deep black holes. She screamed and zipped it shut, and the breathing started. Slow, raspy, like someone was dragging air through mud. By sunrise, she was gone. No struggle, no scream. Her gear was still inside the tent. Her shoes were placed neatly near the flap, and her voice recorder, which she always carried, was lying next to them, playing one sentence on loop. "He's inside the trees. He's inside the trees. He's inside the trees." I don't remember falling asleep again, but when I woke up, I was back at the abandoned clearing. Nate's photo was still nailed to the tree, but now there were 2 more Polaroids below it. One of Sarah and one of me. Only I don't remember taking it. I've been stuck here ever since. Every path I take leads me back to that same spot. My food's gone. My flashlight's nearly dead. And each night, something walks right up to the tent and stands there, not moving, just listening. Last night, I heard the zipper begin to slide open. I didn't move. I couldn't. I think it's waiting for me to speak, to acknowledge it. But I know if I do, it'll come inside. If anyone ever finds this recording, don't come looking for me. Don't come out here at all. Some places aren't meant to be explored. Some people aren't meant to be found. I've always believed that most of the vanished without a trace stories were exaggerated, urban legends wrapped in bad decisions. But after what happened to us on a lonely stretch of Route 220 in West Virginia, I don't even trust the road under my feet anymore. It was supposed to be a simple weekend trip. Me, my cousin Jason, and my best friend Amber heading toward a music festival in North Carolina. We left late, around 10 p.m., because Jason insisted on avoiding traffic, and within 2 hours, we were deep into the back roads. No lights, no towns, just thick forest pressing in on both sides. At around 1:30 a.m., we passed a sign that said, "Welcome to Briar Hollow," a town none of us had ever heard of. That's when the GPS glitched out and the map froze. No signal. Jason laughed it off, said we'd find our way like the old days. But 5 minutes later, we saw a car parked sideways across the road. Headlights off, no driver in sight. We slowed down. Jason honked. No movement. Amber got nervous and said we should turn back, but the road was too narrow. Jason stepped out to check. That's when we heard it. This low, drawn-out creaking sound like rusted metal being dragged across pavement. We called out to Jason. No answer. I got out, walked toward the car, and found the door hanging open like someone had left in a hurry. There was a single shoe lying on the road. Jason was gone. Panic hit fast. Amber was screaming his name while I looked around with my phone light. And then, quiet. The kind that presses on your chest. That's when I noticed something in the trees. Old, rusted street signs nailed into trunks. Dead end, turn back, wrong way. Not for traffic, like a message. Amber ran back to the car. She locked the doors and I followed, but the engine wouldn't start. The dashboard lights flickered like something was shorting out. We heard Jason's voice, barely audible, calling from somewhere down the road. But it didn't sound right. His tone was off, flat, repeating the same words. "Help me! Come here! Help me! Come here!" Amber begged me not to go, but I grabbed the flashlight and ran about 30 yards ahead. The fog got thicker, and then I saw something hanging in the trees. Clothes. Jason's hoodie, and underneath, a row of Polaroids clipped to a string, swaying slightly. In each photo was a person, standing alone in the same spot we were in now. All of them looked terrified. I turned back, but the road was gone. No car, no lights, no Amber, just dark forest and my own breath. I walked for what felt like hours calling her name, but all I heard was a dry voice from the trees. "You saw too much." That's when I blacked out. I woke up the next morning lying on the center line of an empty road, back on Route 220, like nothing had happened. My phone had 1% battery, enough to check the date. It was 3 days later. The car was never found. Neither was Amber. And no one ever found a town called Briar Hollow, because according to every map and state database, it's never existed.